Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankara Sharya Madhyamam Asmada Sharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guratmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sava Vedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satiguru Pranatoshmaham Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. I'm turning on this light here. A little bit dark today. So page 99, we have concluded the verse 12, and we begin verse 13. Correct, Lynn? The Atma projects the mundane dream objects which are present within the mind. In the same manner, it projects well-defined objects also with an outward mind. Very interesting, huh? So you see that here, the projection of the dream world is not really attributed to the vasanas of the jīva Atma, because the jīva Atma does not know how to do anything. Yeah? So it has to be attributed to certain power. This power comes from Maya's or Nidra Shakti, which fundamentally is an aspect of Maya, which resolves itself into consciousness, the only reality, you know. So we are here owning the fact that not only the dream world is a projection of I consciousness, and then we need to stretch that to understand that even the physical material world is a projection of I myself as consciousness, huh? The projector, sustainer, and the experiencer of these all realms of the universe. And here it says that the Atma fundamentally is what projects everything in the dream world. In the same way, it projects the well-defined objects in the awakening world. And it says the interesting things, it requires an outwardly mind. So there is an outward mind that the Atma utilize now to project the objects of the awakening world. Isn't it interesting? So how can we say that the self projects this Vyavaharika world with Jiva's mind? So can any of you explain that?
I don't think the Atma is an actor, so is it the reflected awareness that they're talking about here?
Yeah, but the point I'm making here is, why not just say that the Atma projects this physical material universe through the power of Maya Ishvara, you know? But it says here that it also, because say before in the dream world, it says that this projection of the dream world, they are already within the mind of the dreamer, okay? And then it's project out. And now he's saying that also the physical material world is there within the mind, you know, and the mind somehow is outwardly oriented in the awakened state. So in which way, it's just again and again the same pointer, the same indication that the Jīva Atma is a co-creator of the entire cosmos, because we need to have our minds outwardly oriented, moved, contacting these objects and developing vasanas, and then presenting our desires and fears to the system so that this physical material world can be sustained, maintained, sustained, and the Jiva Atma can experience. Everything is consciousness, everything is the Atma. Atma is doing all of that in such a unique way, because as we know, Mitya is that which is available for appearance and experience, but it's not really there, it's not real. So we are there, and Atma is the fundamental principle responsible for both of these worlds, the dream world and the waking world. And it does that through the mind of all Jiva Atmas, because Jiva Atmas not only are going to project the inner content of the minds producing, creating the dream world, but the Jiva Atmas again and again put into the field their desires and fears, desires and aversions, in a way that somehow that those desires and fears again and again fits into the macrocosm causal body, which is the building blocks of the universe by which Maheshwara keeps changing and adjusting our parabhadas from moment to moment. The universe is a flux, a constant movement and change, and it has to be again and again molded according to our desires and aversions. So with this mind, Atma, in the same way, projects this physical material universe. So this universe is basically produced. Creation, the purpose of creation makes sense only from the standpoint of the agent Jiva who is experiencing this, and it's a joint venture. It's not only Maheshwara, but the Jiva Atmas work together with Maheshwara. So how so? With our ignorance. That's why we say, if everybody would become a yoni from one moment to another, the universe would disappear. Because what sustains this universe is this beginningless universal ignorance. That, oh my God, how wonderful, I need this to complete myself. Oh, and I need to avoid that to complete myself. You understand? So if all of that is removed, if everybody gets the understanding that there is no point in trying to get any true happiness or completion in something which is just a mirage, there is not real intrinsic value, and then everybody is a yoni, everybody becomes a videha mukta, and nobody's going to be reborn here. And Vishwara goes, oh, the party is over, everybody got smart, It's more or less on those lines. How are the two types of worlds created with the help of these two types of sakshi? Consciousness, I myself use two different kinds of powers to project two different worlds. In the dream world, I use, technically speaking, Nidra Shakti, and then I project the dream world, I consciousness. And then he says, I project the dream objects that are inferior in nature, very nice, huh? So the Vyavaharika, I consciousness project this tangible universe, filled with objects which are superior in apparent nature. They are superior in false reality, but they are superior because they are more deceiving. It's much easier to fall for the awakening, for the apparent reality, to the reality of the awakening universe. And it's very easy to dismiss the dream world as just unreal. So he says just two different words in the dreaming. I use this Nidra Shakti, and I project the dream object which are inferior in nature, all the dream objects that are already in our minds in the form of vasanas, or mental, emotional impressions. So those are impressions of likes and dislikes. So what I like, what I don't like, and then those impressions of indifference, they don't produce impressions. You understand? So that's why the yoni can come to a state of overall equanimity in which it does not have attraction and repulsion. And then it's said that the yoni does not create any more karma, because karma comes with desires and aversions that moves one to act, to gain, or acting to avoid. So if we see the world as value neutral or no value after all, so I don't have this energy that projects a sense of reality to the awakening world. So all the dream objects are already in our mind in the form of vasanas. The entire waking world is also in our mind in the form of karma, in potential condition, in the Maya medium. With an extrovert mind, with the help of Maya Shakti, the Atma projects objects in the waking world. You see, the Maya needs the human mind. And why only the human mind? This becomes esoteric, because some say that the journey of the soul passes from the mineral to the vegetal and animal, and then human incarnations. And it seems that there is an evolution there happening. But I don't give much attention or interest to these things, because only once somebody is born with a mind, with an intellect, so that birth has a real purpose of liberation, because although we heard that the call there in Tiruvannamalai, Ramana Ashram, Lakshmi, she got self-realization. So we don't know, but we know that everything seems to be for the purpose of intelligent jivas, to work, to process their karma. So the entire awakened world, it appears as one's karma in potential condition through this Maya Shakti. With an extrovert mind, with the help of Maya Shakti, the Atma projects objects in the awakened state which appear to last longer. This is another interesting point, which appears to last longer. It is structured in a way that things do not disappear as quickly as in the dream state, in the awake state. Oh, somebody was born. Okay, we expect maybe 80, 90 years, 100 in some case. But we cannot say the same in the dream world. So I had my child, and then next moment the child disappears, and there is another experience, So the point here to emphasize is the mind is there, as the raw material to project both the dream world and the awakened world. Not that the mind alone can do that, but it's the Atma can do that through the power of the mind, which is an attribute of the Jiva Atma, which is the power of Maya that allows us to dream and desire things. But we somehow co-create this universe in a very ignorant way. We are moved by our likes and dislikes, which are mental, emotional impressions. We are like machines. I mean, we are not much different than the AI technology and these new robots that are coming into the market so fast. You understand? We are just there, programmed and to go for gaining certain things and avoid certain things, And what I'm trying to say is that the proper process of vasanas or karma, requires a mind, an intellect, a person who got in contact with the teachings of the Upanishads, which is a mean, which is a pramana by which we can begin coming out of this samsara shaka. Samsara shaka is nothing but a mechanical cycle of experiencing things, feeling attract, feeling repulsed, and then my entire life trying to avoid things that I have registered either as attractive or repulsive. So is there something really conscious about that? It seems like a machinery, isn't it? Our inferior nature, until we come in contact with the Upanishads. And then they say, oh, you see, you are a program, but you're not only a program. You have consciousness, and fundamentally, you are consciousness. And you need to come out of this mechanic, automatic, setting, mental setting that has made you a robot. And then we are co-creator. Creation comes into being. Otherwise, it's just Maya Shwara doing everything through the Nidra Shakti and Maya Shakti, and we are just puppets running to gain things or running away from things. I'm sorry. I mean, I like to put things more or less as they are, and I have no problem to do it here because I know that we are all yanis, we are all mature individuals, and nobody gets offended when we refer to our inferior nature as jiva-atmas under the spell of total avidya, because we are beyond that. Verse 16, the Atma projects the jiva first. Thereafter, the Atma projects the various objects which are external as well internal. As the knowledge is, so is the memory. So they're all very profound verse. So consciousness through the power of Maya Shwara, it's said that projects the jiva first. Okay, all these concepts, they have to be abandoned later on. In the beginning, we say that the self creates the jiva, and then out of the jiva, and then once the jiva is there, it creates the other objects for the enjoyment of the jiva. So, but when did it all begin? Because the jiva only comes as a byproduct of its vasanas, So the whole concept that jiva was created first, how? Without any vasana, without any tendency, without any desire and aversion. It's impossible. So there is no first creation of jiva, but for the sake of the teachings, we keep it that way. So the jiva comes, and then the object comes. There are some other presentations of the theory of creation from the unfoldment of the three gunas, the three energies, and then the formation of the subtle elements, and so on. So in which we see that, on the other hand, it makes more sense that there is already something in the universe, and somehow it sounds like Om, the fundamental, the most primordial object in the universe, this subtle energy that appears to be like Om. And then, so we have the first most fundamental phenomenal object, or we can say that is space. And then what? So what is the purpose of creating the space if you don't have an organ to experience space? And space requires a very, very unique organ to experience it by knowledge, because space cannot be experienced through the ordinary sense. But it said that there is a sound, and then Ishvara says, so, I mean, I create the sound, so now I need to create a way here, some means for this intelligent, some creatures to recognize that I have created sound. I have created some perfume, some smells, no? So everything that is created requires an object, a sense organ to enjoy it, to perceive it, So we can see that makes no sense to say that jīva was created first or the objects were created first. And we will see in this Upanishad that none of these theories are going to stand when we really analyze them. And then we have to understand, after all, that there is no creation whatsoever, there is no jīva whatsoever. It's the only thing that makes total sense. Although the jīva and jagata, they appear and they are there available for experience. But, again, we go back to the mirage. It's there, it appears, and it's available for experience. Or the snake on the rope, it appears and it's available for experience, but it's not real. So none of this is real, but there is something that is real. Huh? And what is that? It's I, consciousness. Everything is happening within me, consciousness. This is the only reality. That's why we can never make sense of these statements. That's why Vedanta presents a concept and then later on removes it. And then in the end, it comes with these disturbing statements that there is no creation, there is no creature, and there is no world. And creator. So it's all, and then here it says that the Atma projects various objects which are external as well. As the knowledge is, so the memory is. So we experience the objects and then we extract some knowledge. But unfortunately, this knowledge is very poor knowledge. I mean, we just establish a file that says what I like and what I don't like, what I like max, medium. So we just make these files of likes and dislikes, and we call that knowledge. There is very little knowledge about that. There is just memories, no? And these memories, they control us, excuse me just for a moment. They control us in the awakened state as well in the dream. These impressions, they are going to be there projecting the dream world. Internally is my dream world, as well externally. So all knowledge is so is the all the knowledge is so is the memory. So I hold some mental impressions about some certain experience, objects of experience in the waking world. And then what happens, sorry, what happened is that I hold these impressions, and then in the knowledge remains where? In my memory, in the subtle body, and that memory as well is going to project my dream world. We know that when we desire something too much in the waking world, many times we dream that we got that. Or when we fear something, we have this impression that this is a very threatening object of experience and I want to stay away. I have traumas around that object of experience. And then what happens? We fear it so much, and the knowledge is there as a subtle memory in the subconscious mind. And then in the dream world, I'm having some nightmares that that kind of object is chasing me again. So you feel free to interact with me anytime. Consciousness, with the help of Maya Shakti, projects the awakened world. The entire created world should include the experiencer jīva and all the objects. The entire created world, which is just a mirage, must include the experiencer and the experienced, because jīva is integral part of this projection. This is a projection in which there is experiencer and experienced object. The experiencer jīva is sentient, and the other experienced objects are insentient. So this could cause some conflict, because I'm experiencing Felipe here, and then I say, Felipe, you are an object of experience towards me, so you are a sentient being. So it becomes very complex when you start experiencing other people, other creatures, which are sentients, but from our standpoint, they are objects of experience. And from their standpoint, they are the subject, and I am an object of experience. And then the game gets a little bit more complex. So one is sentient in the case of the inert world of object, and the other is all the sentient jīva, the experiencer. Even though we cannot talk about the order of the appearance, who came first, okay? The experiencer or the experienced? For our understanding, we're going to present as if in order, okay? I say didactically, I say didactics, didactic in Portuguese, yeah? Can you say?
You're saying didactic?
Yeah, when you're a professor or teacher, you have to have didactics to teach, huh? Isn't it? Okay. So we present it as if in an order. In that order, first the experience jīva appears, and appears according to its karma. And the experience world is created based on the karma of the jīva only. So this is the teaching that we came here with our loads of vasanas. Yeah? My karma, vasanas can be seen as karma. I come here with my sanchita karma, and then I have to process that load, okay? And the game is to process karma or process vasanas for the sake of extracting knowledge and developing some spiritual vasanas until those spiritual vasanas are no longer necessary, because it has neutralized most of the other vasanas, the vasanas that tied us to samsara. So we say that the jīva comes first, and according to one's karma, we say that we come here due to our sanchita, the karmas that were not exhausted in our previous births, and then we get a physical body, a mental body, and we got a time space culture setting of to create a proper family. And everything is designed intelligently, precisely according to the quality of my vasanas, my sanchita. Okay, so I remember when I was very young, a guru saying, yes, so if you are very, very highly elevated spiritual being, it's very difficult to get a new birth. Have you heard of this concept? They say that if your soul is very highly elevated, it's more difficult. If you put it in a scale of time, it takes many, many hundreds of thousands of years, because Ishvara has trouble to find a proper father and mother. You understand? Because for you, you need to find father and mothers, and most of the father and mothers with the same kind of elevation you have here, they don't want to put up family or any of that. They don't want even to come back. You understand? So therefore, you're going to have to wait a little longer. And then they say as well, and if you are a real terrible soul, if you are really dark, sometimes it's difficult to come back. And then you keep vaguing around, trying to scare people.
Do you know if that's based on the Shastra, or is that just some yogic kind of experiential thought? As you say, doesn't matter, but
yeah, no, I never heard that from Vedanta. I heard from other gurus in the spiritual world. I read in some books. I read so much books before Vedanta, but definitely not in Vedanta. I heard that much before. Okay, the world does not have punya papam because the world is just what? The elements, inert elements. It's matter/energy. So does it have pleasure and pain? Fundamentally, we know that it does not. It does not. It is inert. Only jivas have punya and papa. The creation of the jiva and the world are based on the karma of the jiva. Yes, we understand that. But the jiva, when it's born, although we say that it comes first, okay? But this statement contradicts the fact that in order to jiva to come first, he should not come already with a set of vasanas. Understand? Because so what came first, the egg or the chicken, the seed or the tree, the vasanas or the jiva Ātmā? But it appears that the jiva comes from the mind, comes from the vasanas, because the universe appears from the most subtle and then grossifying until it becomes physically manifest. The creation of the jiva and the world are based on karma. Jivas are created first who have many types of karmas. Those jivas with punya papa require a higher worlds. So here he talks a little bit about that as well. The jivas which have a lot of punya require, a higher birth, higher worlds. And Atma creates these, and similarly creates also the lower worlds for the jivas with a lot of papam. The whole drama begins. The only solution is to raise oneself from the level of Vishwa, Taijasa, and Pranya to the level of Turiya, one, my true nature, as defined in the mantra 7. There is no way, there is no other solution, because punya is good, but punya is a cage as well. And furthermore, it's like a saving account that sooner or later you exhaust. Verse 16, the next one, he does a little summary. He reminds us that the dream world is projected by me, and the awakening world is also projected by me. We have established that the dream world and the awakening world both are projected by me, and both are mithya, only mithya. So first thing to remember is when we say, I am the projector, I'm the PSE, projector, supporter, and experience. We should never believe that I, the mind, projects, support, and experience. I consciousness, with the aid of Maya, Shakti, and the vasanas of my jīva Ātmas, I project, sustain, and experience the physical world. I project, support, and experience the dream world as well. So it's important to note that I do not experience the dream world directly, but only through the dream body. Of course, every experience requires an instrument of experience. So in the waking world, we use the physical material body, mind, and we experience the physical world. And then we go to sleep. We know very well that our physical body is useless there. We don't take our physical body to the dream world. And then he mentioned about the sleep state as well. Sleep, that state as causal usually is considered an extraordinary Shakti in Mandukya, Karika. So we know Maya Shakti produced the dream, the waking world, and then Nidra Shakti produced the dream world. And then here he makes a reference of another power, no? During the deep sleep. It's considered an extraordinary power, Shakti, in Mandukya Karika. Let's say if he's going to elaborate a bit on this power, which produce the profound deep sleep. Gaudapada extends the same principle to the waking world as well. I am the projector, sustainer, and the experience of the waking universe. In the waking world, I use Shakti, a special Shakti called Maya Shakti. Thus, I am the substratum for both the waking and the dream worlds. The word I refers not to the body or to the mind, because the body and the mind, they both belong to the waking and belong to the dream world. But to something, the word I refers to something other than the body-mind complex, which is I consciousness. It's easy to see how much confusion developed in the spiritual world, different circles, because it's so easy. We make this confusion when we say I this, I that, I am consciousness, I am God, I am the creator, no? And people, if they don't have these profound teachings, no? If they don't submit themselves, they are going to invariably to superimpose the body-mind to consciousness. They say, I, the body-mind, you know, I am God. I hear people all over the place, yeah, talking about that. You know, I'm creator, I have the power, I do this, I do that. They don't understand that the I refers not to the body-mind, but to I consciousness. You know? And who is going to have the courage to say, yes, I consciousness am the creator? Nobody says that. Because it is not going to satisfy the human ego. The yoga ego feels satisfied. They say, I, the body mind, I'm so special that I have this power. Everybody, I mean, I talk to some people still, that friend of mine from the USA, you know, that is still hoping that he can become a superhuman with these kinds of powers. You know, nobody understands that the power belongs to consciousness. But if you shift your identity from the body, mind to consciousness, you don't need to go for the impossible mission of trying to be Shwara while you are just a jīva Ātmā. It's impossible. No? You can only recognize the jīva Ātmā as consciousness. Ishvara is consciousness. Therefore, I can say, I, consciousness, I am the projector, sustainer, and the experiencer of all universe. So I am the PSE of all worlds, all universe. As we can understand, Gaudapada focus on the awakened world. In the details of the awakened world. And he talks about who came first, the experiencer or the world experienced by the experiencer. But this cannot really be determined. It's impossible. Makes no sense because there is no experiencer and there is not really experienced. Projection is a projection. A projection is a manifestation. That's why when we talk about the creation of the world, the best, the world that can be used, you know, without misleading too much, is, instead of calling it creation, is a manifestation. It's manifest, boom. But it's not real, because if it's created, and then it has a connotation of reality, you know. But if it just, boom, manifests. The purpose of creation can be understood only from the standpoint of jīva. So we put the jīva first. We start analyzing the waking world, analyzing the experiencer entity, the jīva Atma. All the jīvas come into existence first. So we say jīvas require a certain locker of experience or field of experience. Yeah. So a structure on which it can interact and transact. Yeah? So the jīvas require the field with objects that can be experienced. Jīvas are the experiencers. Yeah? So they have to have the structure of objects so that he can carry on their punya papa exhaustion, yeah? Or processing of karma, processing of vasanas. After the creation of the jīvas, in keeping with their karma requirements, all varieties of objects in the internal mind and sense organs in the external world are created in the awakening world. Yeah. It appears to manifest in the waking world. When we talk about creation, we talk about causality, and then we say that the tree comes from the seed, you know, and then everything comes from the potential existence of those very things, such as the tree exists in the seed, and the gold ornaments exist in the gold, but it is an apparent manifestation. All varieties of objects exist in the causal, exist in the subtle internal mind, and then the external world manifests. So once the jivas and the world have come into existence, every jiva goes through every experience available. Every experience is classified as favorable or unfavorable, pleasant or unpleasant, by the very jiva uniquely. Based on this classification, the jivas are going to develop vasanas, which are nothing but likes and dislikes, according to Dayananda. So what I like, what I don't like, is based on the experience I had of pleasure or pain. Nobody likes pain, so, and then those experiences, they are classified as dislikes. So either likes and dislikes. Based on these likes and dislikes, the memory of the jivas, are established. So those are the vasanas that they are pushed by and by gradually in the subconscious mind. We don't have enough room in our conscious mind to file, no? All the likes and dislikes of all experience we have had so far. So we have all these memories deposited in the causal body. Wherever there is attachment to an object of like or an object of dislike, there goes the jīva, all excited to gain or to avoid that object. Wherever there is aversion, this is pravritti when you like something. Wherever there is aversion, there is nivritti. The jīva will go all excited again, trying to avoid that object. This cycle of experience, likes and dislikes, pravritti and nivritti, will go on and on and on and on through infinite births, almost infinite births. It's so easy to understand this mechanism because we look into our lives, we see that it's nothing but it. And the only way out is to neutralize likes and dislikes, and that is possible with vairagya, dispassion, equanimity. And for really developing vairagya, we need good discrimination to begin with. And then with that discrimination, we need to understand the nature of mithya, the nature of this universe. And then we see that the universe, they are not really, they don't have intrinsic value, the object. And then I'm going to collect good knowledge over and over again. And then I'm going to experience more and more vairagya, more and more equanimity. And what it happens to the mind of the jīva when he develops this kind of knowledge, which he starts fructifying in one's day-to-day experience of life, the mind is going to be much less disturbed, right? Because my likes and dislikes are not as easily activated. When they activate something, oh, I like and I want, what happens? My mind is all disturbed, trying to gain something. And if it was not only for the problem of having a disturbed mind, but when I get excited about something, I'm reinforcing a certain vasana. You understand? I'm reinforcing that piece of ignorance, and I'm getting all excited about that. And since the jīva Atma does not have the power to get what it wants, you know, and then it suffers miserably the illness, sickness of samsara. The only way out is vairagya. For vairagya, we need discrimination. For that, we need to have certain disciplines and self-control to stop this system, you know, this cosmic ignorance that use up jīva Atmas so unconsciously, so mechanically through this program called vasanas, by likes and dislikes. How to get out of likes and dislikes? How? Self-knowledge is something very mysterious after all. It is mysterious, and if you don't understand the mechanics behind all of that, you may get really confused, and then easily you start going to some esoteric, mysterious, mystical, you know, things. Because as you probably heard from me already in the past, so when self-recognition took place for me, I found myself in a totally different body-mind, experienced the world in a totally different way. And I was like, oh my God, what happened here? Why I'm no longer afraid or excited about things? Why I'm not getting irritable and pissed off anymore? What happened to me? You understand? What happened? it happens that you recognize, in my case, in my experience, I recognize because I was chasing this understanding. I am consciousness, everything is conscious. My entire life I was chasing this and meditating, contemplating. And then once I understood I am consciousness, even though I haven't at the time understood clearly that I am consciousness, therefore I am Purna, I am whole, full, and complete. I did not have that understanding. It became clear to me that I was not my body, mind. And only that understanding alone had the power to neutralize vastly my likes and dislikes to the point that I could understand what was happening. Isn't it amazing? The system, Ishvara system of vasanas, the program of the jiva and the way the jivas sustain this program for as long as he is deceived by the power of Maya and takes the world to be real and projects intrinsic value to that which is value neutral. Okay, once the jivas and the world have come into existence, every jiva goes through every experience classified based on dislikes and dislikes, the vasanas, which are subtle memories, are deposited in the causal body, and then the attachment becomes stronger, and then the jiva lives fully under the spell of ignorance, avidya. And then the infinite cycles of births again and again will happen. More karma is going to be accumulated and more rebirths will happen. So that's a beautiful description of the situation of 99.999% of human beings on this planet. Verse 17, the Atma is mistaken just as a rope, which is not clearly known in darkness. In darkness is mistaken for various things such as lake, the most relevant. And so on. So in which way we mistaken the Atma? It says the Atma is mistaken just as a rope is mistaken to be a snake. In which way the Atma is mistaken? Can you answer me, please?
We take ourselves to be the body-mind entity rather than the Atma itself.
Yeah. So we are the Atma, but we mistake the Atma as the body and the mind. We see, I mean, there is a rope there, but we mistake the rope to be a snake. We project. So we are consciousness, but we superimpose, project what the instrument by which we experience the world. We take that instrument to be our true nature. So the self, the Atma, is mistaken just exactly the same way a rope is mistaken to be a snake. And how is that possible? Too much tamaguna, too much rajaguna, sustaining the subtle body, sustaining this incredible phenomenon called the mind, reflected consciousness, So when you have too much ignorance, in analogy, much darkness, you cannot see things very clearly, and you take the rope to be a snake, and vice versa. I mean, this analogy of Vedanta is wonderful, but we need to reverse it as well, especially nowadays, because there is so much confusion. You see a rope and you project a snake, and then some other times you see a snake and you say, oh no, it's just a rope. Yeah? There is no danger. It's all good. Oh, these people, they are very good. No? The awakened the dream world of Mitya projection, and I am the self, the Sattva, the Atma, Satchitananda. I am PSE, projector, sustainer, and experience. Gaudapada says that as long as I do not know the Atma clearly, the Mitya world will appear as Satyam. As long as I don't know my true nature in consciousness as consciousness, I will take the mind and the intellect to be the self, my true nature. And then the Mitya world will appear as Satyam. The body mind will appear as Satyam. Some people say, no, the world is not Satyam. No? But the agent, the experiencing entity, the body-mind complex is Satyam. And then we say, the subtle aspect of my human nature is Satyam, and the world of experience is also Satyam. So big mistake, big confusion. As long as I take myself to be the body-mind, this samsara will continue. Waking up in Vedantic terms is knowing that I am Satchitananda. I project the dream world and I project the waking world. As long as I do not know that I am the true projector, sustainer, and experiencer in this apparent universe, I project an apparent universe, I sustain an appearance universe, and I apparently experience an apparent universe. If I don't get that right, I will mistake the world, the dream world, and the physical world to be Satyam. Mistaking the dream world to be Satyam will create many problems, because in the form of helplessness, because the mistaking myself to be a limited person, there is not much difference. It seems that mistaking the physical world to be Satya is even more problematic than mistaking the dream world to be Satya, because the dream world, we come out of that very clear and we feel, oh, thanks God. But to come out of the awakened world, it requires tremendous effort and spiritual punya karma, great merit. So waking up from the dream world is at the reach of every human being. Shwara does that for us. But to take the awakened world to be Satya, there lies our biggest problem. So in both cases, helplessness will lead to anger, frustration, depression. This samsara is the result of mistaking the dream world to be Satya. Vedanta says that it's the same thing with the waking world as well. And I have expand that to say that recognizing that the waking world is not real is much more difficult than recognizing that I had mistakenly believed that the dream world is Satya. Now I have the world, the physical world, I believe it to be real, it's Satya. And I'm suffering of samsara because Ishvara does not help me like it does in the dream world to come out and recognize, oh, this is just Mitya. It's just an appearance, just a projection. Mistaking the awakened world as Satya, I'm taking the limit body mind to be Satya, and then the limit body mind to be real. I will suffer even more acutely the seed of samsara, anger, frustration, depression, and many other disturbing, painful, mental, emotional experience. The Mithya awakened world is understood as Mithya only when I understand what? The dream world is understood to be Mithya when I stand as the awaker. And the awakening world, which is Mithya, is only understood as Mithya when I stand as Turiya. Once I understand that I myself am PSE, Satchitananda. Self-ignorance is the only cause of samsara, and self-knowledge is the only solution. To illustrate this, Gaudapada presents us our most traditional metaphor of the snake and the rope. Does the snake exist really or not? You cannot say that snake does not exist because for that person, the snake exists. How so? I'm experiencing the snake and it has produced an effect on me. So I'm frightened. So the experience is real, although there is no snake. But can we say that snake does not exist? No, we cannot say that it indeed exists. So its snake is not non-existent and not existent. And that is the brilliance of these revelations, you know, which brings this other category. This universe is just Mithya, that which is available for appearance and experience, but it's not real. This Mithya universe does not come under the category of non-existent and does not come as well under the category of factually existing, factually non-existent. No, this is Mithya. And then he reminds in details this analogy that says that ignorance can be seen as bliss, because if we are totally ignorant, okay, we don't have any problem. No. The problem is what? Can you say that our cats and dogs, they suffer of samsara, psychological suffering, pain? I mean, some maybe, some of these animals, if they are too closely associated with human beings, they may get some, because I heard that some of these cats and dogs are taken to therapists sometime here. You know, it sounds crazy, but you know. But generally speaking, they don't have the human problem of likes and dislikes. Therefore, they don't suffer the psychological suffering that we humans do, you know? So if you were born totally ignorant, and then you are not going to suffer anything. And we know that by analyzing the experience of deep sleep, in which we experience a certain peace and satisfaction of being totally ignorant. The moment that I become a conscious being in the waking state, my likes and dislikes are activated and my peace is disturbed. My peace is disturbed and I begin suffering because I can't control my experience. I can't control the field of objects of experience. So I'm not totally ignorant because I know that I am in the waking state. So in the deep sleep, I do not know. I'm not totally ignorant because I know that I am in the dream state, but in the deep sleep, I'm totally ignorant and it's wonderful. The problem is that partial knowledge is not enough. And this is the most relevant passage here. What is the partial knowledge that every living human, intelligent, quote unquote, human being experience, which is I am, I exist? Everybody experiences aham, eu sou, I am, I exist, you know? So I'm not totally ignorant because I know that I am. I am, and I know that I am. I exist, and I know that I exist. This self-reflective, the self-reflection of consciousness appearing in this human mind gives us a partial knowledge, which is I am. And what is the total knowledge? Aham Brahmasmi. You understand? Aham is not enough. I am. If I say I am and I do not properly define this I am, I'm going to be just, subconscious believing that I am my body mind. And I'm going to be moved by my likes and dislikes, and I will suffer the samsara. Yeah? So total ignorance is good for awakening, for sleeping, but when I awake, I have a partial knowledge and a partial ignorance. So this mix up of a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of ignorance is what creates samsara. Because there is partial knowledge, self-knowledge, there is a projection. So what is the partial knowledge that Gaudapada is referring? Is I am, and I know that I am. But it's partial. You understand? That's just Ramji putting in his terms, like everybody knows that I am a conscious being and I exist as a conscious being. But nobody knows that I am Brahman, I am full, I am Purna, I'm complete. So everybody has this partial knowledge. I am, and I know that I am. But this knowledge is not enough. No? This is what we call partial self-knowledge. The full self-knowledge is I am Purna. I am the projector, the sustainer, and the experiencer. I am the only reality. If we don't have the full knowledge, we're going to keep projecting reality in the unreal world. In both the waking world, the dream world, and whatsoever other locus in which there is this division, experiencer and objects being experienced. They are all called by self-ignorance. Oh, but I want to go to the fifth realm of duality, but it's going to be light, it's going to be good. But it's still duality, it is still based on self-ignorance. When the snake is frightening me, no, how do I get out of that problem? I need the light to shed the light over, to see that the snake was just a rope snake. Samsara solution is rope snake solution. What's the solution? The solution, as we know, is knowledge, is the light of consciousness as revealed by the Upanishads. I am this light of consciousness. I alone illumine the world. I sustain, I reveal, illumining the world, and I experience the world, and so on. So this is what it is. Anything from you guys? We meet again next Friday, same time. How did it work for you, Lynn?
Well, it'll be fine. A little sleepy this morning, but that's because old ladies have a hard time getting to sleep sometimes. Other than that,
you drink tea or coffee before the class?
Coffee.
Oh, yeah, it helps. Huh? I need my coffee as well in the morning to get going.
Yeah. One of Ishwar's little gifts.
Yeah. Okay. We meet again this coming Friday. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. We meet again next Friday. Bye-bye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, Arlindo. Very nice satsang.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye now.
Much love.
Thank you.
Cheers.